This is an ode to my village. More specifically, it's about my childhood in a Bangladeshi village. So, without further ado, let's begin. Our house was at the end of a long dirt road, and we had to walk through a big field just to get to the main road. We would play hide and seek in the tall grasses of the paddy fields. Sometimes we would slide down the little hills of the field and roll all the way down to the bottom. We would go to this market with our mothers to buy vegetables and other things. And while our mothers bargained with the shopkeepers, we kids would play in the market, riding on the carts that were piled up beside the shops. We would climb the tree and eat the mangoes raw. After the rain, we would jump in the puddles, pretending that we were ducks, or we would slide down the muddy hills, laughing and screaming all the way down. Sometimes we would fall off the tree and get hurt, but we didn't care, because the taste of the sweet, juicy mango was worth it. They would tell us stories about tigers and ogresses, witches and wizards, enchanted palaces and magic lamps, and I believe that my childhood in the village shaped me into the person I am today. They told us about a man who lived on the moon and sent light to the people on Earth. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for spending this much time with me. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care. And they told us about the origin of the 7 herbs that grew in the garden of our house. These bedtime stories were based on the Bengali folktales of our region, and they helped me develop a love for reading and storytelling. I remember the sound of the rooster crowing every morning, the sound of the cows wearing bells around their necks, and the sound of the flute. Someone would always be playing the flute in the village, and the melody would flow through the air, making the environment even more beautiful. We would splash and swim in the village pond, collecting water lilies and trying to catch fish with our bare hands. It was a competition to see whose kite could stay up the longest or whose kite could reach the highest. And sometimes we would play a little dirty, trying to cut each other's kites with our special kite-cutting scissors. If we got bored of the pond, we would go to the river that flowed by our village. The river had sand on one side and tall, strong trees on the other. We would build sandcastles or sail paper boats in the river, and then climb those trees and hang upside down like monkeys, pretending to be Tarzan. And after the rain, this field would turn into a thick, brown, muddy soup. My brother and I would jump and play in the mud. My mother would carry me on her back sometimes, and sometimes I would just walk right into the mud and make my feet dirty. The first thing I remember is walking to school. Now this was no easy feat. After school, there were so many adventures waiting for us. The banyan tree had these large, strong roots that formed little houses under the tree. We would crawl through these houses, pretending that they were tunnels of an ancient city. If you ask any kid from the village, I'm sure they'll tell you that the best place to play was under the banyan tree. Now, every village has a small market, and when I was a child, I thought that this market was the biggest market in the world. I also remember how we would play with kites. Kites are a big deal in Bangladesh, especially during the winter season. The whole village would fly kites together. Now, whenever we were around mango trees, we would try to steal unripe mangoes. During the monsoon season, the sky would rumble and thunder, and we would run and hide under the banyan tree, watching the heavy raindrops fall to the ground. Now, the countryside is not as noisy as the city, but it has its own kind of sounds. At night, after everyone had gone to bed, my grandparents would tell us stories. I left the village when I was 12 years old, but my memories of the village never faded. Thank you for watching this video.